and he is back, ladies and gentlemen. The very first person to come back for a second time on the show, and it's mandatory, right? We got 7 weeks. We need a specialist in every area. The equity today is mindset. You're the first person that came to mind, brother.
That's awesome. So hold on, the podcast I did with you, was that like the first 1 or 2?
Man,
it was in the first week, wasn't it?
I know it was. We were like, you know what? Let's go ahead and just press record on this thing and let's just see what happened. Sound was all jacked up.
It was good.
We had 0 subscribers, but we had a mission. We had a purpose to uplift, to inspire, to hook people up with some valuable insight to live an extraordinary life. And that podcast that we did, regardless of the sound being all jacked up, has historically been one of our best yet.
Oh,
and
wow.
most listened to.
That's awesome.
That's all you, man.
No, it was a collaboration.
All right.
We fire off each other. So it's all about mindset.
Yeah, so we are doing 7 weeks.
Okay.
You know, and I have a feeling some of these series, we're going to have two weeks of the same topic, you know, just because we've got some incredible people that we'd like to interview. But the very first subject, you know, when we talk about the 7 equities, we typically say mind, body, soul, right? Or we say mindset, physical, spiritual. And so we're always talking about mindset first, but for many people, it could be health first. For even more people, I think will say, no, Kev, it's God first. It's not about a right or wrong or what should come first. What we know for sure is that those core principles of your heart, you know, your physical well-being, your mind, and your mind, your body, and your soul, those are all key.
Absolutely.
Those are the 3 pillars of your chair, right?
Absolutely.
You knock one of those,
you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think like what you just tapped in, mindset. So when I wrote the book, Unbreakable Mindset, I wanted to show people, and there's a lot of great books out on the growth mindset.
Yeah.
So I wanted to take not a similar approach, but I believe in a flexible mindset.
Right.
So what I mean by that is, in any kind of mindfulness training or anything you're going to do, you can grow to a certain distance, but without flexibility, you break or you pull a muscle.
Right.
And
wow.
I always look at, when you talk about a palm tree is the only thing that survives a hurricane.
Wow.
Palm trees don't snap, they bend. So in life, it's about cultivating a mindset to, whenever you're faced with an obstacle, the obstacle becomes the way. Ryan Holiday talks about it in that Stoic philosophy, is taking the adversity and say, okay, I'm going to flip it on its head. Wow. So if that means when I wake up in the morning at 4 a.m. and I try to exercise and we have the goal, and the goal is to do a workout, and the baby wakes up, then the baby becomes the weight vest. Man,
that's so valuable because, you know, I always talk about how what we resist persists. And it's when something happens, and we hear these quotes, you know, it's not what happens to us, it's how we react to what happens to us. And that's great. But man, when you're in the moment and this thing happens and you're like, what the, really? But I've never heard anybody call it flexible. Yeah. Right? So the foundation of your book, 7 steps to an Now it makes sense. I get why you're calling it an unbreakable mindset.
Because you're unbreakable if your mind is flexible. Yeah. So then when we talked about in our first podcast was about managing your fear. Right. So in the book, on the 2nd chapter, I talk about post-traumatic growth, not post-traumatic stress. So if you go to the gym and you stress your muscles, they're going to grow. Yeah. Now when someone suffers stress, it's because they fire and wire those thoughts, the trauma, over and over again. Herbian law states neurons that fire together wire together. Yeah. Right? So if you sit there and you fire and wire stress hormones all day, what happens? You get stress. Right. But if you take Viktor Frankl, right, the great person that wrote Man's Search for Meaning, that's it. He created post-traumatic growth and positive psychology from the stress. Yeah. Yeah. Right?
Wow, that's awesome. I remember back in the day, I was maybe 17, 18 when I started listening to Viktor Frankl. And I don't even think it was a CD program. I think it was like a tape program.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it was Man Search for Meaning or what it was, but he says, and he had that accent. He's like, if you want to get it going, he's like, get a pebble and wake up in the morning at 3:30 in the morning and put it on one side of your yard, and then take that same pebble and take that pebble and take it to the other side of your yard. And then take and then take it again. And when your ego starts saying, "What are you doing?" just say, "I'm getting stoned." Like he had all these tricks, these funny things of just tricking your mind to just adapt and to go with the flow.
Well, I think that's the basis of where people fail. There's no right time. There's the time.
Yeah.
And I think people overthink things. So by being unbreakable, it's like, okay, if you have a goal. So when I talk about goal setting, you have to have a purpose. Because purpose is the glue that sticks everything together. Yeah. Then you have to have a plan.
Right.
And you have to be realistic about that
plan.
Prioritize.
Yeah.
How much time do you have in the day? And what are you doing with that time?
Right.
The 80-20 rule, which is 20% performance, 80% return.
Purpose, plan, prioritize.
Prioritize. Then the people, your team. You talk about Think and Grow Rich, mastermind group. Right. Who is my core team?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now on that you have so you have a plan. Now where am I hanging out? What are the places I'm hanging out? Right. You don't say, oh, I want to lose weight. Then you open up your fridge.
Exactly.
And what is it? It's full of junk food.
Yeah.
Right. So you set up your environment to be conducive to your goals.
It's awesome.
Then the last two are perseverance and patience.
To just stick with it. Yeah.
You've got to keep grinding.
Right.
And that's the ability to be flexible.
That's awesome, man.
Do you know what I mean?
Really good.
And then you keep bending.
So what do you do in the moment, right? You're in the moment and a situation happens. So like outside right now, right? Carter is one of our case MVPs. We have somebody that we've been following up with for about a year. And they didn't list with us. They didn't list with anybody. But Carter just gave them a call right now, and they said, "Oh wow, it's so interesting you called us. We just opened escrow on our house, and it's a $5 million deal, So what do you do in a moment like that? Like, what's your process so that you're like, cool, keep it going with my day, awesome.
All right. So anytime we go into some kind of stress hormones, it means something outside of ourselves has threatened a basic instinct.
Something outside of ourselves has threatened a basic instinct.
An instinct, right, of survival.
Okay.
That's money. Right?
Right.
You're either afraid you're not going to get what you want, lose what you've got, have guilt and shame for something you've done in the past, or you're worried about the future. So the deal is money, right?
And for us, it could be a little bit of a couple things. It could be the money, but I think the bigger one is almost for me at least, it's almost a little bit of shame and guilt that I did not have a more effective follow-up system, or that I wasn't the one that was chosen, right? So there's because the money's one thing, but for me personally, like I know there's another opportunity. So it's a more of like a feeling not being good enough.
Okay, so it comes back, right?
Yeah.
So here's a question then. There's two things that I always look at. I can't change the past. It's done.
Yep.
And I can't change people.
Yeah.
Right?
Can't change the past, can't change people.
No. So I sit in the moment and I ask myself, what's the lesson? Okay, how could I handle it differently? Like you said, learn from the lesson. So then I don't sit there in shame and guilt, and that doesn't keep me locked.
Yeah.
Because say, for example, someone does something, someone steals from me, someone does that.
Right.
If I stay locked in that fight or flight mode and keep playing that process, then the new opportunities, they don't exist because I'm in a fog.
How do you combat that when it's there, right? Like let's say haters.
Okay.
And now we're in this environment where you can get so many comments. We're so much more exposed to shit talking, and when how do you deal with a situation? Like, have you had any situations where somebody's like just throwing jabs at one of your teachings or something you're doing
all day? All day.
Bro, I'm just here to help.
Well, here's the thing. I know for a fact when I break the world record, so many people are going to come out and say, I could have done it.
Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely, you could have. And you could have created Apple.
Right.
And you could have created Amazon.
Yeah.
But did you?
Yeah.
And you could have created Facebook.
Right.
But did you?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, did you break the world record?
Yeah.
No, I did. So what I do is this. I just say that person's not part of my tribe.
Okay.
That person's not part of my audience. My job is to inspire, educate, and motivate. Right?
Inspire, educate and motivate. Yeah.
And I'm going to do that by my actions.
Right.
Whether I write a blog,
Yeah.
whether I go out and help people. Now, if I trigger jealousy in someone, that's because part of them is like, oh, I hate that guy because they're not doing the work.
Right.
Then that's not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just slow myself down and go, all I do is this. Wow, that's really interesting. I become curious.
Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's really helpful because...
So when people start firing jabs at me,
yeah.
like he doesn't really train like that, I'm
Right.
like, that's really interesting,
Yeah,
but I
that's
annoy
really
you.
interesting.
So why don't you
That's
come
really
train with me?
interesting. Yeah.
And then when I do 150 pull-ups with a baby carriage on,
Right.
I'm like, what happened? You
Right.
quit after 5. We can keep going. You want to run with me?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
I pushed the baby 13 miles.
Right.
And one guy said to me, that's just horrible. What, couldn't you get a babysitter?
Yeah.
And I just laughed at him as I passed him and fed the baby.
That's amazing.
And then all these other women.
But here's the thing. It is genuinely interesting. Like I had this dude, right? This dude who's hating on me, who I thought we were friends, and he put me on blast on his social media because of a way that I go about finding leads for my buyers. And this guy has historically been a top 10 in Orange County for probably the last decade. And I think last year he was like maybe number 55.
Wow.
And so I know it was like the worst year he's ever had. And I didn't do anything. And all of a sudden somebody's like, dude, did you see this thing? Blah, 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 blah. And I have to say it really, really bothered me in that moment. Looking back at the things that I said to him via DM, it would have been more effective to say, wow, that's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Right? That's what I do.
That this old dude, instead of hitting me up and saying, hey, Kev, I'm falling fast. How can you share some of these tips and tools with me? I would have been like, I got you, bro. I got you. Let's go grab a coffee.
Right.
You know what I mean? But how interesting.
Yeah, I always go, because then I go, wow, I'm triggering. I wouldn't do that. And I know, this is how I know if I'm off. If I am blaming the kid, my wife,
Right.
or I'm in a grocery store and it says 15 items or less, and I'm like, they've got 16.
Yeah.
I'm the problem.
You're the problem.
So what I do now is flip it on its head. I ask myself, all right, I stop. I get in the practice of saying, I'm feeling disturbed. Why?
Right.
I'm frustrated. Why am I frustrated?
Why are you frustrated?
What action can I take? So I slow everything down
Right.
and say, okay, I'm frustrated because I don't feel things are going the way I planned it. Well, maybe they're not going to go the way I planned
Yeah.
it. So why don't I adjust the plan? Why don't I adjust my attitude? And by adjusting my attitude, I'll give you a perfect example. I went into a dealership and the guys were off, right? And I had to do the sales meeting and pump them up and motivate them. In my head, I was just like, oh man, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, nope, I want to be here today.
Yeah.
So 2 ladies from Univision got up, then I got up and rallied the troops for like 35 minutes. The 2 ladies from Univision contacted someone at the dealership. They said, we need to speak to him.
Yeah.
He turned that whole room. I did a group meditation.
My man.
And you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I always come back to me because I'm only responsible for me.
That's awesome.
You know, and that means, and in my practice, if I get primed correctly in the morning and I'm breathing correctly and I'm slow down and I'm focused, when someone cuts me, I'll give you a perfect example. I was driving to a speaking gig and someone rammed in the back of me. And the guy that booked me on the gig was kind of annoying me and telling me, you're late, you're late. I said, someone just ran in the back of me. I didn't get out of the car until I was calm, because I know how I can react.
Right.
I got out calm. The car was fine.
Yeah.
I went on to the gig. Then the lady said, didn't you get rear-ended? I said, yeah. She goes, you're so calm. Let me book you on some speaking gigs.
Right.
Because I know me.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about this world now, Kev. What happens if I get out of the car, I break the guy's jaw, right? I either go to jail or that guy might be a psycho.
Right.
Then he shoots me.
Might be an MMA fighter too.
Might do something, but what is it?
Choked you out, bro.
You're right. He hits my car, and then he shoots me.
Yeah.
So I always do this. I don't know where the person's going. I don't know where they're coming from, but I'm not getting caught in the crosshairs.
That's good, man. That's really good. Yeah, I like to tell myself too that when dealing with somebody who I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you joking? I just tell myself, everybody is doing the best that they can with what they know. Everybody is doing the best that they can with what they know.
100%.
This is what they know.
Yep.
This is their truth to them.
Yep.
And they are truly doing the best that they can in this moment.
Right, with their resources. You know, the thing is this. I always say, if I can just forgive them because I've made mistakes, I never go to a well that's dry.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
If someone doesn't have it, and that's where they're at emotionally and spiritually, that's okay for them.
Absolutely.
It's not my job to judge them because I've been there.
Yeah, that's good, man.
You know?
Well, and but right before this, we were having the conversation of, you know, because we're always talking about achievement and growth. And I think one of the most important skill sets that we could do our best to share with people is that when you catch a bad vibe, whether it's from a hater online or a deal falls apart, if you hang out in that vibe, if you hang out in that energy, you are now just causing it's just a matter of time. That's one thing, a virus.
Yep.
You call it a virus. That's just one thing happened, but there is now a virus within your being, within your environment.
It's toxic.
That bing, 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 every other area from your home to all your other deals,
100%.
To your health and your physical well-being. So we're here. What I'm really inspired about doing is helping people really recognize that energy and then shifting it quick.
Correct. So if you really get technical about that, so the amygdala, the most primitive part of our brain, fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
The amygdala,
fight, flight,
or freeze.
Yeah.
So let's look at it like this. You're a smart person. As you think, you feel. As you feel, you act.
Yeah.
But your emotions can hijack you. You can feel something, act, and then think. And a lot of people go, I don't even know what I was thinking.
Right.
Because their emotions hijack them.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
So if your emotions hijack you and you aren't present and you can't recognize, oh, I'm about to snap.
Yeah.
Breathe diaphragmatically, get back in your center and go, ooh. See, you could kill 1,000 people in your mind.
So you said you can go from feel,
fight, flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
Into rest and digest.
Yeah.
Which is like, no, I'm not going to react. So your emotions can hijack you.
But typically what we were saying is what you think becomes how you feel, which leads to what you do.
Absolutely.
Think.
Yep. Feel. And then act.
Act.
Now, what happens if you
can
feel,
also go
feel, act.
And
then you go think.
Wasn't even thinking. Damn. And that's when crazy, dumb shit happens.
Right.
That's when you just go nuts in the middle of the
Let's
street.
be honest. You're driving down the you're driving down the freeway or driving down the street. All of a sudden, you're just a normal dude. Then you're like, if I just lean the steering wheel to the side, I'm on the front of the news. I just wiped 50 people out.
And you think, you know, like how many people got caught up in that over the years where they were not thinking, they were acting off of emotions.
Feeling, exactly.
Wow, that's powerful,
so you're
man.
Now look
it's like that scene in Anchorman, you know, when they're hanging out after the fight, the street fight, drinking the beer. He's going, wow, that escalated
that
quickly.
Quick? I think you killed a man, Brick. You may have to go to a safe house. I'll give you the perfect example. It's like, all right, here's a perfect example. When I work with young kids, right, young men shoot up schools, not young women, right?
Wow.
Now, why? Because testosterone affects the primitive part of your brain, which is the lizard brain, which is your amygdala. So, women may say some crazy, nasty shit.
Oh, yeah.
But men come back and shoot people and do crazy stuff through the resentments. Men hold grudges. Women can be spiteful, but men hold grudges.
Right.
Now, if you don't manage those emotions, you end up in jail or dead.
Yeah. It's huge.
If you see like basic emotional intelligence to be self-aware, compassionate, have empathy, and know how to manage your emotions.
Yeah. Powerful.
You know what I'm saying?
It's awesome, man. It's awesome.
And that's the truth, because once we get to that point where we, through daily rituals, go, hey, I'm off.
Yeah.
I'm off. And anyone that wakes up and says, oh, yeah, I'm just like, no.
Right.
I could be so far off center. But what I do before I leave the house, before I get in the car, I reset.
Yeah, it's huge. And you know what? It's funny because it doesn't matter where you're at. It's like new levels, new devils. A few nights ago, I was on the verge of tears when I was just having a real honest conversation with my wife about some things that I'm battling, which are all based around work. You know, I've got Project Mindset going, and there's a lot of different things to do. I have our real estate company. We just moved into a new office. We are around case. There are 15 other things going. There's so much going. We have the new baby, and I was just feeling something, and it has nothing to do with her. But I had to tell her, I was like, babe, I need to figure something out.
Right.
And I think that's a very, very important thing to do, is to have a get real conversation with somebody that loves you.
Yeah.
You know, have that. Everybody's got somebody. You know, you got an aunt, you got a friend, you got one person out there.
Agreed.
And if you truly, truly, truly don't have anybody, and you send me or you a text, a DM, and it says, hey, man, I don't have anybody else to talk to about this. I look at the DMs.
Yeah.
I promise you, I will get back to that person.
I'll give you a perfect example. I'm glad you said that. See, what people don't understand, like even when I sent you the video this morning of me training, I knew you'd get it.
Yeah.
You have, like me, I'm trying to raise money for this little girl. I've got the newborn. I'm trying to do the coaching. I'm trying to blow the book up. It's doing great. But if you don't get out enough and you sit in your own head, you realize you're doing plenty.
Right.
You are enough. But sometimes we overthink it.
Yeah.
So this lady sends me a message.
But to get to that, the reason why I get up at 4:45, and the reason why your crazy ass gets up at 3:30 is because we're doing so much.
Yes.
And the one thing I want to encourage people to do so much, I don't give a shit how much you do with your work. Yeah. If you do not take the time for yourself first, and if you do it at night, hey, that's great, but I really want to encourage you to start your day in a place of mind, body, and soul.
Absolutely.
It is just a matter of time before you break.
Yep, 100%. Yeah.
You got to hook yourself up.
You have to. If you don't prime yourself in the morning, you're done.
Thank you.
You have to get up and prime yourself. Man. And whatever daily ritual you have, it has to be personal for you. That's why some people, their meditation is running.
Right.
Some people go to a spin class. Whatever it is, you need to slow it down, set the intention, keep writing those goals down, writing the purpose down, and then life is going to show up.
Yeah.
And then you've got to figure out how to get back on track.
I want to encourage people as well to not talk to anybody else for like the first couple hours, right? Like before 8 a.m., I've talked to in the first 2 hours, it's strictly myself and God. Unless Kaizen wakes up and he's in the gym with me, our home gym, it's just myself and it's just God. Because we are so exposed to comments, to texts, I got clients who nonstop email and text. They don't care what time of the day it is, but you've got to block some time off just for you.
Otherwise, you're reacting.
That's it.
I never check the email. I never check any social media when I first get up. I'll read. Yeah. I'll meditate, get the exercise in, and then I'm primed.
Awesome.
And I always journal of how I'm feeling. Because 99% of the time when I first get up...
You write down in a journal or do you write in your phone?
I write in my journal.
That's awesome.
I like to physically write.
Yeah.
And I'll write my attitude. I go through attitude. Okay. Right? How am my attitude? Usually I start off, my attitude's pretty average. That's the truth. Okay. I don't wake up like this glowing, like positive energy. Right. I don't. I wake up grumpy. I'm like, good. Me too. Whatever. Then I go straight into acceptance. Okay. And acceptance in the moment. Yeah. What do I have to accept right this second?
Awesome.
Then I go into action.
Yes.
What's the action plan for the day?
Awesome.
And then I go into gratitude.
Awesome.
So it's as simple as this.
Attitude.
Attitude, action, acceptance, gratitude.
Awesome.
Every day.
Awesome.
Now, and this could be the simplest thing. I never get pissed off in traffic.
Okay.
You know why? If it's a 90-minute commute, that means I get 90 minutes to listen to a great audio
Hell
book.
yeah, dude.
I'm stoked in traffic now. I am primed in traffic.
Every Tuesday, I am in traffic for 2 hours on the way home.
I get 2 hours on Wednesdays and Fridays, sometimes 4 hours of traffic.
Yeah.
Because I go to Culver City on a Wednesday, and then from Culver City I end up in NoHo, and then from NoHo to Glendora.
Yeah.
That's Wednesdays and Fridays. Some days it's longer because if sometimes I speak at schools in Glendale. I speak in the morning, and then I go to Culver City, and then I'm stuck in 2-3 hours traffic.
Yeah.
But I've already set the intention to be positive, and I put in an audio book.
Right.
I make positive calls.
Oh man.
And the traffic's easy.
Our time that we have, it's always Malik, KP, and I. It is like, I mean, Malik's always the one driving, so I don't know, maybe it's a different experience for him. But man, we are, and I don't think so. I think Malik enjoys it. He gets to drive in the new Range, you know, and I'm in the backseat doing work. We're laughing, we're freestyling, we're listening to stuff. Yesterday on the way home, we recorded a podcast in the car.
I mean, that's amazing, Bart. But this is what you got to think, and I always say to people, don't move to LA and complain about the traffic.
Yeah.
That's like going to Chicago in winter and complaining about the cold weather.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Figure
funny.
it out. And I love what you just said about, like, you go to, you know, Alana, and like people, I always have this great thing. People say, well, if I had $1 million, I'm like, no, you would lose it.
Yeah.
You never earn it. Secondly, you have a million problems.
Exactly.
Where are you going to invest it? You know nothing about investments.
Yeah.
Well, no. What are you going to do with it?
Yep.
You wouldn't know what to do with it because you didn't earn it.
Yeah.
No one runs the marathon for you.
That's awesome.
You get up, and if you want to complete it, you put your pants on and you start.
Well, and the $1 million is right there. You know, it will come to you as soon as you have a need for it.
Correct.
It's like my buddy Richard Mulder always talks about that. Where does it rain the most? Well, it rains the most in the rainforest. Why? Because the gravity of the trees is pulling down the rain.
Right.
So you are getting everything that you need. You're getting everything that you want. As soon as you start to clarify some other things based on your vision and your purpose, from people to money to places to a building to a car to investors, it will show up.
Well, you go back to what Jim Rohn used to always talk about. It's like you have to have a plan for everything, right? But if you aren't planting the seeds and doing the work, nothing comes.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like everyone is looking for this quick fix. Like it's just going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not how life works out. And then what sucks as well, like on Instagram, is people post these pictures and post this life.
Right.
And I remember a while back, this girl posted a picture. She had a lot of followers. I don't know if they were fake or not. And she posted a selfie, and she's like grinding away. And in the reflection of the selfie, this guy goes, "You're on a bus."
Wow.
And like, she would post these pictures like she was fabulous. And the guy saw the reflection. She was on a bus.
Wow.
I'm like, you're catching a bus around LA.
Yeah.
No offense, you're not a high roller.
Yeah.
Right?
Either that or you're really good with your money.
Oh, you're really...
Maybe she is a high roller, dude. That's why.
Right, it's true. But the point was, he was like... And she shut down her account after a while because she realized people were like realizing like...
Yeah.
And this is what I think is ironic. I don't mind telling people that I get up in the morning and I train in my house, and sometimes when I run a marathon, my ulcerative colitis is so bad... I may crap my pants, dude. I have to wear a diaper.
Yeah.
I have no shame about that. That's just life. And I want people to know that with bowel diseases that it's okay. Don't feel ashamed of that.
Right.
If you're sick with a bowel disease, don't go take prescription pills because of the shame. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, don't worry about it. It's okay.
It's a part of life. We're all dealing with struggles, with battles, with challenges.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I'm always curious about the dude who's putting it out there like he's just got it all figured out, you know.
I figure it out. I have a plan. I do a lot of reading. I read 1 or 2 books a week. and I just figure it out in the spot.
I've absolutely figured it all out. And one of the things I figured out is this shit is not easy. No. That's it. So if there's anything that I have figured out, it's that there are challenges,
always.
There are breakdowns,
yep.
There are upsets. I'm going to be sky high. The next day I might be totally depressed.
Yeah.
But like you said, I absolutely am. I feel unbreakable.
Of course you are.
Because you can throw anything at me and I will let it hit me. And I'll say, wow, I'm not sure why that came to me today, but let's get this party started. Clearly, it's for some good reason.
Absolutely. And it's like if you go back when you listen, you've got, and this is what I think, your mental diet has to get enough information of people that have faced adversity to check you. So when you listen to Jeff Bezos, who literally lost his parents' money, 300 grand, had 20 investors that had to get the first million to make, Amazon what it is. Everyone laughed at him. It was a joke.
Right.
And he kept grinding on it because he knew how big it was going to be. Yeah. You look at Steve Jobs, who got thrown out of his own company. Yeah. Then learned new skills, faced the adversity, came back and made Apple. You know what I mean? So you've got to get enough information when you see like a guy like Gary Vee that said he got F's and D's. Right. You know what I mean? Like you have to go back to like, all right, I'm struggling right now, slow it down.
It's awesome.
Be grateful.
It's awesome.
And sometimes it's literally because it's the ripple effect. If you get grateful with one thought, you get grateful for the next.
Come on now.
It could be just walking into the bathroom, go, I'm grateful right now that I'm washing my hands in a nice sink and it smells good.
That's it, man. That's it. My dude Charlie's got the internet on fire right now with his winning streak. His whole thing is like, wherever you're going, acknowledge that you are just winning, good or bad. So he goes up into Starbucks every single morning and gets his coffee and his oatmeal, and it comes out to like $4. And he's like, "Phew, I get all this for $4. I'm on a winning streak."
It's great.
And it's that mindset that what's coming to us is exactly what's supposed to come at that time.
Well, we're manifesting it.
Yeah.
Because we manifest everything in our reality up until this point by how we perceive it.
Awesome. Without a doubt. Good. And I think that's where the power is recognizing that we are manifesting our reality based on what we think, based on what we feel.
Absolutely.
Good and bad.
Good and bad. All right. So if you look at really like, Abraham Hicks, Think and Grow Rich, the real law of attraction, the secret. If you're looking at the law of attraction, you're looking at the reticular activating part of the brain, right? So if whatever I put in there, subconscious mind, conscious mind, the net is the reticular. Yeah. It's going to pick it up, right? Right. So like they say that example, if you want to buy a red car, you see red cars everywhere, right? So whatever you're planting, you're going to get more of. Awesome. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm grateful that I'm wearing these shoes, as simple as that practice is, and then when I get ungrateful, resetting, and going, nope, I'm going to breathe and reset. That's it. What happens? I get grateful again. I'm grateful it's beautiful outside. I'm grateful I'm driving in a nice car. I'm grateful I'm meeting you. All of a sudden, gratitude. Yeah. And the problem is with people as well, is the universe, when you want to manifest something, and the universe gives you crumbs, but we don't recognize the crumbs. You want the cake, right? You got to get the crumbs.
That's it. It's awesome.
And people get caught saying, well, I want it. Well, you're actually getting the opportunities that you get out of your own way. Yeah. That's why you never know who's in the audience. You could be at a Starbucks, like you say, and you have an idea, and you do your manifestations in the morning, and you don't know who the guy next to you is, and he starts talking about a deal, and you're like, hey, you know what? I sell real estate. Yeah. Oh my God, you're my guy. That's the $10 million sale. Yeah.
And getting that you have the ability to attract anything that you put your mind to.
Anything.
If you can see it in your mind,
it's done.
You can attract it in real life.
Exactly. And as long as you have a plan, you realistically, you have purpose, you prioritize your time. Do you know what I mean? And you focus. Because let's look at it like this, right? There's a gap. And I always say, between where you are and where you want to go.
That's it.
Right? Yep. In anything, in any skill, it could be traveling. We could take the basic thing, like you and I we're going on a road trip. I go where? You're like, we want to go to New York. All right, why? What's the purpose? Right. Well, I want to save money. I want to see America, and I want to visit a friend. Perfect. We get in the car. What's the plan? We have to have a plan.
Yeah.
Right? Are we going to do it alone? No. All right, so who are the people we're going with? Right?
Yep.
Now, prioritize. How much time? We can't drive it in one day.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So you get that. Now, look at the car. Does the car have the ability to travel that distance?
Right. Is it going to make it?
Is it going to make it? If not, then you have to get a better car.
It's awesome, dude.
Right? Then you go back to there's going to be some bumps along the road, right? So what happens halfway through? You got a guy in the car. There's two types of people. There's engines or there's anchors. You're an engine. You drive people. So am I.
Yeah.
I don't like anchors. They hold you down.
Right.
Someone in the team is an anchor. Get rid of him. We're going this way.
Let's go.
You're pulling us off.
Yeah.
Then the last two to travel the distance and close the gap is perseverance and patience.
I love it, man.
And if you take that with anything from a health plan to a business plan to a spiritual plan, whatever you do in life, if you look at those P's and get out the worst one, procrastination, move all the procrastination, say, I've got this right now. And that's why, like, when I send people videos, they're like, what are you doing? I said, dude, I work out in my garage. I just go and do crazy stuff. They're like, what? I'm like, that's all you need to do.
So stay tuned, guys, because my dude Mike Diamond is changing the game for this term. Can we tell people?
Yes, I am.
This is a term that we need to change this up. Why is dad bod this funny thing? You know what I mean? Where you start getting chubby, they call that dad bod. Yes. Nah, man. No. Stay tuned, because my dude Mike Diamond is creating a new meaning.
New meaning.
For dad bod. I appreciate you, brother. As we wrap this up, I'm going to read this thing. I just opened up your book. Okay. 7 Steps to an Unbreakable Mindset, Mike Diamond. And it's page 77 that I just happened to open up to. There's a lot of stuff's going on with the number 7. And it talks about don't wait to create. And I just want to read what you said here. I think it's awesome. It says, everyone has ideas, but what we choose to do with them makes all the difference. Unfortunately, most people get stuck at the starting blocks and never take the first step to get into the race. Why? Is it because we are afraid to fail? Is it because we think people will think our ideas are stupid? Are all great ideas, inventions, or creations had to have a starting place? That starting place is the idea. The initial spark is vital, but how many people are willing to take that spark, learn the skills required to fuel the idea, and then create the fire? When people say something is impossible, is that really the truth? Or is it just because no one can see our vision? Think about Roger Barrister. No one knows what lives inside of you and what magic you have to offer. Don't be afraid to work on your ideas. While I write this, I know one person out there will be inspired with what I have to say, and that is all that matters. Woo! 7 steps to an unbreakable mindset. Go swoop it up. Anything else, Mike?
Not really. I love seeing you.
Love seeing you too, brother.
It's always when you call me out of the blue, or when I have this thing that if there's always there's a gathering and you're not
it's
there,
funny. Super funny. Mike is married, guys, to my cousin, to my aunt's daughter, and it's funny. For several years, I would see Mike, maybe 5 years, and it was kind of when I was still in a party phase. And I knew that Mike was somebody that helped a lot of people with their sobriety. So probably, when did you and my cousin get together?
Oh, God. What, 9 years?
Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah, and I've been sober for 3. So you figure for a good 5 years, I totally resisted you, dude. I would see you having what looked like an awesome conversation at the other side of the room, and I would just hang out at the others. And I would literally don't think we exchanged words for 5 years, dude.
That's pretty funny.
And then all of a sudden, we have one conversation a few years back.
Oh, yeah. We clicked straight away.
Holy shit, this dude is rad. And now those family functions, that's the first question I ask. Is Mike going to be there?
I say the same thing. I'm going to leave you with this. It's funny you say about sobriety. Years ago, when I was drinking and obviously doing a lot of drugs, and I was best friends with Scott Weiland, we were at a party one night, and a bunch of sober dudes came in, and other musicians, and I went to say hi, and then I went and got Scott. I was like, hey, Scott, all these dudes here. He's like, let's get the fuck out of here.
It's so funny, man.
It's like, I don't want to be around a bunch of sober dudes. Like, yeah, neither do I. I'm like, oh, my God.
I'm a lot happier now. How about you?
Oh, yeah. I can't even compare it.
That's
I'd be dead. I'd be dead.
Yeah.
I'd be dead. Here. Not even a question.
Same here. Well, I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for always coming on the show and absolutely dropping so many gems. Keep it going. I look forward to seeing you breaking that Guinness World Record. Woo! Mike Diamond, guys. We out. Thank you.